Hello. Today we're going to cover assignment 5.1, the paired sample t-test in SPSS, coaching and bowling scores. Now we start by opening up SPSS and dragging and dropping the coaching instruction.sav file onto the workspace. Basically what this does, it gives us the student scores, their first game, the pre-coaching game, and the post-posting game, and then we have to create a variable called diff. Now, in order to do this, let's start with a hypothesis. The null hypothesis states that the coaching session has no effect on performance. The average difference between pre and post scores is 0. The alternative hypothesis predicts that coaching does change performance. And since we expect an improvement, that means the average post score should be higher than the average pre-score. Paired sample test will tell us whether the improvement is large enough to be considered statistically significant. We'll start by opening up the main file, which we already have open. And you will see your variables, see your scores. And before running the test, we need to check the assumptions. The most important assumption is that the score differences are approximately normally distributed. And we'll create a histogram to prove that they are. We start by creating diff. We go to transform, create variable. We'll type diff in here, it says target variable. Then we'll drag game 2 in, and then we'll put a minus and drag in game 1. And this then will create diff. We'll go to graph, down to histogram. We'll drag diff into the variable, and then we will hit OK. And what this does, this drags up the histogram. And we can see that it looks approximately normal. So the normality assumption is satisfied. The other assumptions, paired observations, and independence across participants are also met. Now we'll run the analysis. Now I've already done this, so I'm not going to go back through every single command, but I will show you which instructions we use. We'll start by going to Analyze. We go to Compare Means and Proportions, and we pull down to the paired t-scores. Now we'll drag pre-game into variable 1. We drag post-game into variable 2. Make sure standard deviation of the differences is going to show up. Go to Options, make sure our confidence interval is at 95%. Click Continue, click OK. And then we'll come back with all of our tables that we need to do this problem. Now we look up here at the paired sample statistics, and we see the mean for the pre and the post game. And there's about a 4.95 difference between them. standard deviation is not too much off. There are 20 samples are significant. One side is 0.005. A two-sided significance is 0.011. What this means is that we show an average improvement of 4.95 points between pre and post scores. 5.5% increase in the scores from coaching. Next table shows the correlation between pre and post scores. This correlation is 0.556, which is moderately positive. This tells us that the students who bowled higher before coaching also tended to bowl higher afterwards. And we look at the paired sample test. And difference between the pre and the post is a negative 4.95. The negative simply means that post scores were higher. The t-value is a negative 1.685, 19 degrees of freedom, and the two-tailed test is 0.108, one-tailed is 0.054. Because both p-values are above the threshold, the improvement is not statistically significant. Now, we also see that the effect size. Now we see that the colon B is approximately a negative 0.38, which is a small effect. Confidence level for that effect includes 0, meaning the effect is not significantly reliable. Now, confidence level has a lower bounds of 11.10 and an upper bounds of 1.2. And because it includes 0, we cannot conclude that coaching produced a reliable improvement. So what does this mean in practical terms? Students improved by an average of 4.95 points, or about a 5.5% increase in their performance by coaching for a 15-minute coaching session. However, the improvement is not strong enough to be significant. This doesn't mean the coaching has no value. It simply means that there's such a small sample that a single 15-minute session is not enough evidence to conclude that the coaching caused significant improvements in scores. To summarize, we used a paired t-test to compare pre and post scores. Scores increased after coaching, but they were not significant. Effect size was small. Confidence level included 0. The histogram of the DEF score supports the normality assumption. In this analysis, the p-value for the single paired sample test was above the 0.05 threshold. In fact, p was equal to 0.054. Because of that, we failed to reject the null hypothesis. Even though the average scores increased by about 5 points, that improvement is not statistically significant. Based on the sample, we cannot conclude that the 15-minute coaching session produced a reliable change. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis. And that is going through all the information that we were able to obtain using the paired sample t-score. And I want to thank you for watching this.